Hey everyone, this is Chase the Stick Figure here with my best pal BlamCO HD.
Hello, everyone. How's it going?
And today we're going to be doing another podcast, and this is going to be our first time doing a fun podcast. But I'm not gonna add it to to the podcast playlist because as I might make another podcast playlist for a and but the point is, this podcast we are going to be talking about villains from our favorite pieces of media.
Yep, so let's get started, shall we?
All right. We're gonna start off with the big lava monster known as Necros from the movie Moon Guardian of the Moon.
He sounds like an interesting character. I've never heard of him. Is he, I'm gonna look him up real quick.
Yeah, we're gonna each look up each villain, and so we can see some good information about them.
Yep.
Of them. So Necros is a giant monster from the movie who is really huge.
Oh, Necrolls. He looks cool, yeah.
Yep. Yep. Necros is a giant lava monster who used to be one of the guardians of the sun, and then he got possessed by a snake. No, not possessed. He was manipulated by a curse or snake that caused them to turn into a really bad villain.
Yeah.
and and his current and he really likes he really likes his son so much that he actually steals it from the movie, and he will kill anyone that attempts to steal the son away from him.
Wow.
Um, and I'm sorry. I'm looking up some information of the villains on their wiki pages, and he's voiced by Davy Grant in the English dub.
Cool.
He's very selfish and a cruel creature, and as expected from a guardian that corrupted into believing the son will be his alone. He treats his minions harshly and seems to view them as merely a means to an end.
Yeah. What do his minions look like?
They're like Pain and Panic, but they're a lot different. Um, One's a little fat, and the other one's a bit skinny, and he.
Yeah.
But the fat one and also enjoys being evil and likes eats the evil things that his boss does. While the skinny one likes wants to have peace and likes flowers and and other kinds of nice stuff. It doesn't like to be evil.
Can't see that reminds me of?
Who?
Another villain sidekick I know. It's Dr. Eggman's robots from Sonic. Because Eggman has two robots, Orbot and Cubot. One likes to be, evil along with Eggman, but the other one likes to just being silly and goofy all the time.
Yeah. One crazy thing about Necros is that he actually succeeded in getting the sun, but it's impossible to do that in real life because you can't get the sun. Even if you tried,
Exactly.
you would immediately die.
Yeah, it will be so hot it could burn you.
Yeah.
Even with like a shrink ray, which is not real, it could still not work.
Yeah, even if it worked with a sea shrink ray, it would still burn your hands off.
Yeah, exactly.
But since Necros is a very hot lava guy who can handle any sort of heat, he successfully carries the sun.
Yeah.
Uh, uh, and one crazy thing about what he did is that he blew away all the heat from the sun, which is another thing that's impossible to do in real life.
Yeah, that's impossible.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, he's also one of the strongest villains I've seen. He has incredible strength, mainly due to his size, and he can lift up incredibly heavy things.
Wow.
His guardian form, which is his normal form, is actually just a leaf guy with a waterfall, while his evil form is a lava guy with a lava fall.
Cool.
Looking for more. He, Once a proud guardian is now an evil spirit that no one else can respect.
Yeah.
All right, that's pretty much it I want to say about him. So we'll get three villains each, three for me and three for him every turn. So we'll talk about more than just six in total. We'll take turns. Three for me, then he'll do three.
Sounds good.
So the next villain we're gonna be talking about is a villain from a show I just discovered. You pretty much already know who it is, but the
Yep.
villain of the show is Narest from Nico and the Sword of Light.
Yep.
He is another huge creature, and he also has a really grotesque face. Me and BlamCO watched the episode of Nico and the Sword of Light, and he definitely looks very threatening.
He does, yeah.
Just like Necros, he also has a henchman villain, only one, and it's an evil bird who is evil, but he's also has a really funny sounding voice, and he's also goofy too.
Yeah, he kind of reminds me of Akaspechi because they both have funny voices that are goofy and stuff.
He is voiced by Steve Blum, who also played Starscream in Transformers Prime.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. And also in the show, there was each chosen one that was chosen to fight him, and they all failed. And
Wow.
Nico, the main character of the show, was the only one left to fight him, even though he was too young and not too ready to fight yet.
Yeah.
Huh. What else is there? Right. All right. Oh yeah. One of the episodes, he transforms into a monkey into a creature of darkness, which means he's turning a monkey into something evil. Which is the current gag he would do. He would turn a lot of innocent creatures into giant evil villains.
Yeah.
Um, and when he goes to his human form, he still looks the same and still looks friendly. Only he's just a regular sized human. And in the final moments of the show, which I read, he turned and he brings up every single monster to fight against the main characters, and which almost destroys the world. Or,
Wow.
yeah, and he even uses a thing that has his face on it, which he controls to make him look like he is to make him watch what the monsters are doing to the main characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and one thing that was a little off at the end of the show, he apologized, but it's not really normal to accept an apology of a guy who almost caused a lot of damage.
Exactly. The right thing for them to do probably would have been like to kill off the main villain, have him like sacrifice himself to save the world or something.
Yeah,
You know, like have him sacrifice himself like to save the world and stuff. That way he's he would have really meant it if he was sorry and stuff.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's so. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, so he just apologizes and then he gets his apology accepted, which is not really normal for a villain, and to for a villain who caused a lot of damage and almost destroyed the whole world.
Yeah. They should have done like the Darth Vader redemption for him and have him like die and like sacrifice himself while saving the world and stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he actually also has three forms. One was his human form. The second one is phantom form. And the last one is his more powerful form.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and fun fact: I didn't know that the Nico and the Sword of Light was a web TV series. I thought it was an actual TV show. I mean, it was later on, but back to the villain. So, oh, he and he also has an eyeball on his head that can transform, or that can make him see through other monsters to see what the main characters are up to.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, that's pretty much all I got for him. So, who are we going to talk about next? Oh yeah, let's not forget my favorite villain of all time, the Peter Thunder General from Monkey Dust. He is my favorite villain out of all the villains out there.
That's cool. What is I already know a lot about him, but why don't you explain him to us for the viewers?
Yeah. And I get most of the information from the Villains Wiki because the Villains Wiki is the home to information about villains.
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So basically, he is. Well, a lot of things we pretty much already do know about him is that he is a tall man with loose black hair and pale green skin. He wears a costume making to that of Matthew Hopkins, the famous British witch hunter, known as the Witch Finder General, which you pretty much get it, edit. And I think he might have been around in the 1620s. So if you compare it to his age now, he's probably about hundreds of years old.
Yeah. He must be old. He must be older than Yoda, probably.
Yeah, that sounds like it. Yeah. He actually has committed some very brutal crimes, which makes him a very evil villain, such as murder, child murder, identity theft, arson, deception, possession of child pornography, and yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and his type is a delusional fanatic.
Yeah.
And he's actually a bit more evil than other villains I mean seen. And he's more evil than the villains I mentioned before him because he kills people who he thinks are pedophiles, when in reality they're just people trying to do everything things, and it kills them for no reason.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. So he's killing people for invalid reasons, which is why he is so freaking evil.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things I like about him, and to be honest, not even I know why he's my favorite villain. Yeah, there's a lot of good things about him. I mean, his appearance is good. He has a great voice. I don't know who voices him, but I don't know who he's voiced by because it hasn't given information about who he's voiced by. But but he has a great voice. He has a great appearance with a really villainous and evil face. And I really like how he's tall and how he's dressed in Aston Witch and Aston all that great clothing with a giant
He's also
chat.
he's also a funny villain at times.
Yeah, he's also very funny. Yeah. Um. And I bet it. If Monkey Dust was a video game, which of course it would be rated MA for adults. Then and he would probably be the final boss of the game, and he'll probably be one of the hardest final bosses to take down
Yeah.
since he has magic, he can teleport to anywhere at any time. And if you try to fire a shot at him, he will disappear and transfer to another location. He will give out a really painful blow.
Yeah. He would probably have like a lot of things coming at you at once, probably too.
Yeah, he pretty much like the last two also have henchmen. The Peter Fun Adrenals henchmen are a bunch of guys who work for him dressed in brown robes that cover their appearance.
Yeah.
And they're mostly the ones that do the dirty work for him.
Yeah. If they were like enemies in a video game, they'll probably be like Shy Guys a little bit.
Yeah. There are a lot of other villains in the Monkey Dust franchise, like Celadin from the Hollywood movie stereotype movies, and the Cyclist. But Peter Funner General is definitely the most threatening villain of them all.
Yeah.
And one more thing I gotta say about him is that he uses any possible thing against an alleged pedophile and has no I don't know what that says. Cleanse about killing anyone to be they a show. He killed a show host, a teenager, a homosexual couple, and even a group of children.
Wow. That many people?
Yeah, he killed a lot of people because he thought they were pedophiles.
All these innocent people he killed? That's crazy. His goal is to rid the world of pedophiles, but really he doesn't even do that.
Yeah, he does it the wrong way.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much all I got for him. So now it's BlamCO's turn to talk about his first three villains. So go ahead.
Can it be any villains?
Any villain you want, yeah.
I'm gonna start with Chick Hicks.
Okay.
Chick Hicks is Chick Thunder Hicks, and yes, Thunder is his middle name. It says is the antagonist in the movie Cars. He was voiced by Michael Keaton, but however he was voiced by what's his name Bob Peterson in Cars 3 because Michael Keaton was busy at the time for Cars 3 when it was released. It says his origin is Cars, of course. His occupation is a racer, formerly, but now he's a talk show host because he was a talk show host because he lost the race and didn't want anything to do with him because he was a villain. He was a jerk.
He's not the most evil villain ever, though. He's a bit of a he's a bit of a low villain, and I still don't really like him because he's a stupid jerk.
Yeah, it says that he did get a talk show in Cars 3, but however it's unknown what happened after Cars 3 after Chris Ramirez won the race, but it's very possible that Natalie Sturton bought the rights to the talk show from Chick Hicks.
Mm-hmm. I like Professor Z though, but we'll get to him later.
Yeah, it says relationships. His pit crew, Chief Chick, Wide Chick Pity, and Bruiser Bukowski. Bruiser is his number 2 fan. Yep.
And one question for everyone is that if you're all gonna ask, why is Bruiser his number 2 fan instead of his number 1 fan? You go ahead, Blam.
Because the number 1 spot is already taken by Chick himself.
And that's cheating. You cannot choose yourself to be your best pal.
I know, right? You cannot choose your own self to be your best friend. I mean, that's not even possible unless there was 2 of you, but that's not even possible, so.
I just thought I wanted this kind of life.
Oh crap! There was an ad on the website I was on. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, I get those too.
So since
Hopefully, I
Chicken's
have ad
not like the
blockers
most
for you.
evilest in the franchise, I'm gonna move on to a different villain now. My second villain, which will be Cad Bane.
Okay, he's your favorite villain, right?
One of my favorites. Yes. Hold on, it's stuck. God, the website I'm on is stuck for some reason.
It sometimes does that to the wikis I'm on too.
Yeah, Cad Bane right here is a major antagonist in the Star Wars franchise. He is a bounty hunter. He's a bounty hunter, but out of all the bounty hunters in Star Wars, I would say Cad Bane's the most evilest because he has all these
Uh-huh.
crimes he's done. It says his crimes: organized crime, mass murder, death threats, terrorism, contract killings, torture, kidnapping, child trafficking, theft, blackmail, hacking, incrimination, fraud, stalking, conspiracy, assault, abuse.
That's a lot.
Yeah, so he's definitely one of the most evilest bounty hunters. But he's also very cool because he has a lot of cool weapons and gadgets and stuff.
Yep.
I like his outfit too; it's pretty cool too. And
Yeah, it looks pretty cool.
he's also voiced by Corey Burton, who plays also played Count Dooku in the movie Star Wars.
Yeah.
It says that says Cad Bane was born in 62 BBY, whatever that means, and died in 9 ABY, making him 71 years old at the time of his possible death.
That's old, but not excruciatingly old.
Yeah, he might not even be dead because if you look closely at the screenshot when he dies, you can see his life alert beeping, so it's probably that he's actually still alive somehow.
Yeah.
It says despite being a major antagonist, he only appears in 2 episodes, which is kind of sad actually, in the Boba Fett movie. So that's kind of sad.
Oh. Wait, how many episodes is he appearing in the animated series?
A lot.
Okay.
I wish they could have put him more in the movie series, though. That would have been cool.
Yeah.
Maybe they will. Maybe he's not actually dead. Who knows? And yeah, he also has a sidekick named Toto360, who's very loyal to him, but he doesn't really get the recognition he deserves because he always Cad Bane always treats him like complete crap all the time.
Yep.
For example, not fixing him when he gets hurt, and putting a bomb inside his belly so Cad Bane can steal something without getting caught. Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty insane.
So next we're going to move on to one more before I have dinner, which is Malik from Dark Deception.
All right. All right, and then I can do my last three.
Yes. And I'm probably gonna mute myself while you do your last three because I gotta have dinner. Okay.
Okay.
Malik is the main antagonist of the episodic indie horror game Dark Deception. He is a demon who controls nightmares and has a rivalry against Doug Hauser and Bierce. He is voiced by Christopher Corey Smith. I don't know who else he voices, but I'm pretty sure I recognize him from some stuff. I don't know what he's from though, so. You see, he's probably one of the most evilest villains in the whole game. Because so far, the woman Bierce wants to use the ring for greediness, right? While the main
Right.
player you play as, Doug Hauser, he wants to use the ring for good. But Malikov wants to use the ring for evil.
Yeah.
Says, here's some fun trivia about him. His name strangely translates to angel in Arabic, which is quite weird because he's not actually an angel.
Mm-hmm.
He's the complete opposite. So maybe it's possible that a bigger evil person is controlling him, maybe, but I doubt it. That'll be cool though. So it says it's possible he's the equivalent of Satan from the Dark Deception universe. He's the equivalent of Satan, by the way.
Yep.
His original name was Ereshagal. They probably changed it to make it more make sense more probably.
Yeah.
And he has three forms: a Thor form, a Phantom form, and a human form.
Yeah.
His crimes are grand theft, mass murder, torture, abuse, stalking, possession, and conspiracy. The type of villain he is a demonic rival.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I'm not sure if he has minions or not, but his minions are probably those little eyeballs that he carries around with him. And he could also have his minions like as the other nightmare creatures and stuff like the animatronics, the nurses, all that stuff.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, that's about all I have for that. So
All right, now it's time for me to move on to my final three. Then we'll end the podcast, which are Alastair from Hazbin Hotel, Professor Z from Cars 2, and what else am I going to talk about? General Dean from Seer. All right,
and
so
if it's all right, I'm gonna leave the stream a little earlier just because I gotta have dinner. Okay,
all right, I'll see you later.
bye.
But it's time for me to do my last three to tell about you guys all about these three I'm going to talk about. So on to Alastair first. I'm going to get him from the villains wiki because fun fact, he's also on the heroes wiki, but you know. So about Alastair, unlike most villains, he actually has a mix of good and bad in him. So he is so he's pretty much like a good and evil thing. But but let's go. Hold on. But let's read you all some information. He's also called the Radio Demon. Excuse me. And he's also a major protagonist, as because he can also be portrayed as one of the main heroes, but he's still a villain because he's still threatening and evil. So he was a former serial killer in life, and he's a notorious entity in hell, and is one of the many overlords known from the friendly demon of ordinary power and sadistic sense of humor. Sorry about that. I had to freaking cough again, which but back to that. And, and reminding sinners into reaching heaven and bends for his own amusement. He is voiced by Edward Bosco in his normal voice, while his singing voice is provided by K. Gabriel T. Brown. The name he is called in the show are the Radio Demon, Smiles by Angel, he's called that by Angel Dust, Danger, Wicked Spirit of Mystery, Violent Monster of Chaos, and a Strawberry Pimp. But also called that by Angel Dust. But his occupations are he's a formal serial killer, a radio talk show formerly overall of hell, funnel backer of Hazbin Hotel. His powers and skills, he has a lot of them, which are demon transformation, dualism, intimidation, cooking, musical dancing, singing, ethereal talent, broadcasting flexibility, wide intellect, and shadow manipulation, and there's a lot of them, which makes him very evil, which is why he can still be counted as a villain. And the crimes he committed are mass murder, destruction, torture, mutilation, and cannibalism. And its type is sadistic thrill seeker. He is dressed in a dark red paint striped suit with a tie. He has pale skin and a wide yellow grin and red eyes. His hair is red and brown, and there's a lot of other stuff he has, such as a monocle and carries a microphone staff with him. His voice sounds like it's muffled through an old speaker, and constantly a laugh track compares with what he says. Yes. He actually has a sexuality which is asexual, which is, oh, oh, and he's rejecting aliens just giving him an oral sex, which is inappropriate. But he isn't above slapping people on the butt just to anger them for his own amusement, as he did with Baggy, which is also inappropriate. Sorry about that. Um, um, he has been around in the early 1890s to the early 1900s, which makes him another old character, not as old as the others. But um, he became a serial killer when he reached his adulthood, and and yeah. Some trivia about him is that he was confirmed to be asexual on Twitter, as he's seen disliking age those sexuality remarks in the pilot. And according to Visible Pop, Alastair dislikes being touched, though he appears to have no problem touching others, as he does multiple times in the pilot. That being said, he curbed disliking by wearing his gloves, which kind of I think that might make him a hypocrite, because that can make him a hypocritical villain. But he's still a good villain, and he is my second favorite villain of all time. So yeah. And in terms of power, it's stated that Alastair has a million abilities that he keeps secret that he likes to unpredict. I had to swallow. And also, perhaps shown by his old fashioned manners and tone, Alastair dislikes small testosterone that was created after he died. That's also the reason why he doesn't get along with Vox. I really like his current design. His current design looks cool. Well, and his old design is still good, but the current design is still pretty cool. Moving on to our next villain now, so that's all I got for him, is Professor Z from Cars 2. Where's the villain's wiki page for that guy? Alright, Professor Z, up next. Alright, his full name is Professor Zubnap. His full actual name is Otto Wolfgang Zubnap. Why does it? I don't know why he has Wolfgang as his middle name, but anyways, Um, he's in Cars 2. His occupation is a scientist, second in command of the Lemons, right hand man of Miles Axelrod. Because Professor Z is not the main villain of the Cars 2 movie, Miles Axelrod is, but he's still very, very threatening and weapons designer. You know. His crimes are murder, terrorism, conspiracy, racketing, weapons dealing, hacking, illegal dumping, pollution, attempted bombing, attempted mass murder, un- unlawful experimentation, forced convict action, arson, and embezzlement, property damage, mass torture, breaking and entering, kidnapping, hate crimes, assault, and mutilation. That's a lot of crimes for a villain from a kids movie. He is a wanted German weapons designer who works for Sir Miles Axelrod in the light years prop to turn the entire world against the alternate fields and make money out of it. He is Finn Missile's arch nemesis, as he killed both directly and indirectly secret agents Leland Turbo and Rod Redline, two of Finn's associates, which is pretty dark. He is voiced by Thomas Kreinstman, who also played, I don't know, Herman Fregard in Downfall, Wolf Gang, Fawn, Stricker, Marvel Cinematic Universe, and Grey Wolf and Greyhound. But more information. He was first seen with an orange wig as when he follows the lemons around, owned it, and that's pretty much what goes into the story. But but and as his fellow lemons murdered a British agent named Leon Turbo by having him crushed into a cube much to the shock of Leland's friends, figuring missiles about spotting McMissile. Zunat orders Gay to kill him, but McMissile escapes and fakes his death. The type of villain that he is a power-hungry scientist. And he also is planning to sabotage the World Grand Prix, as he's willing to do whatever it takes to eliminate all obstacles to his plan. Alright, moving on to some trivia about him. He is a Zudnab Jansis, a German microserver made by the Zudnab Motorcycle Company from 1957 to 1958. The name Janus came from the Roman god, which is based on the unusual design having the doors at the front and rear, passengers in the rear facing backward. It had 245 cubic centimeters engine with the ultimate top speed of around 50 miles. Most of Presidency's traits, especially with his thick accent, were taken from Zil, a Russian car who was originally intended to be the main antagonist of Cars 2. However, Zil was scrapped for Sir Miles' lecture proved to be more popular among the producers. According to the Cars Wiki, Professor Zunab comes out of the western German city of Dusseldorf. Zunab is the central antagonist, and he has a lot of on the screen time, proving to be more dangerous than his boss and drove the plot. His powers and skills are he has very high speed, high intelligence, scientific knowledge, and manipulation. And that's pretty much all I got for Professor Z. And finally, on to the final one, which is General Dean from Seer. This one's going to be a little bit short since there's not much information about him on the Villains Wiki, but I'm still going to read it anyway. Again, it's still worth a shot, because why not? So, General Dean is a villain in Taomi Seer franchise who was one of the two main antagonists of the third movie, the Universal Force Seer Squad. As well as him appearing in the fourth movie in the animated series, he is voiced by Mei Xiaoling in the original version and King Snatsman Jr. in the English dub. Ding is a robot who is the leader of the large army called the Space Pirates. He seeks to destroy the planet Nas by using a power creature called Cabero, a sword of the light in a sacred tree of Nash, and destroy the Egg people. He leads a large Roman army, his underlings, Joe and Alex, and Calabero, until after his villains one last time. Dean is also a very powerful physical fighter. He is very fast, he can easily evade attacks, he uses robot scorpions, he has one in his back capable of activating bombs, guiding Cabero, and he's the only robot in the space pirate who is not a coward. And that's it. That's all the information about him. And it's no other information. That was very short. But that's pretty much all I got for the Villains Wiki. Now, of course, there were a lot of other villains I could have covered in this video, like Darth Vader, the Dark Lord from Metopia, Titans from Megamind, Lord Farquaad from Shrek, Scar from The Lion King, Pete from Mickey Mouse, Lotso from Toy Story, Slappy from Goosebumps, and Spooky from Spooky's Mansion, Mimi from Paper Mario. There have been a lot of villains I could have captured, but I just feel like we just feel like talking about these 9 villains here because that was the only 9 we were able to talk about. But if we were able to do another one, we would definitely talk about the villains I just mentioned as honorable mentions for this video. But that's it for this podcast, and we'll see you all next time. Peace out, everyone.